Scientists, this from America Blog, and this is americablog.com, a real concern. Scientists increasingly critical of Obama's response to oil leak. The scientists assert, this is from the New York Times, the scientists assert that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and other agencies have been slow to investigate the magnitude of the spill and the damage it is causing in the deep ocean. The government has failed to make public a single test on the water from the deep ocean. So what we're seeing here, our question for the hour, is British Petroleum running this country now? Is that what's happened? The BP has taken over? And we've got three companies here, British Petroleum, Halliburton, and Transocean, that you could argue, and in fact some people are guilty of at the very least, negligent manslaughter. Although they're multimillionaire executives, prance into Congress and prance back out again without anybody asking them any serious questions. It's all kabuki theater. Because at the same time that they're being asked questions in the front, they're shoveling money in the back right back to these members of Congress. We have, tragically, the best Congress money can buy right now, and we're seeing it just right across the board. But many of us thought that at least the Obama administration would be standing up for America. When the conservatives came out and they said, yeah, this is Obama's Katrina. This is going to be Obama's Katrina. Well, I'm starting to think it is. Because the Obama administration has been sitting back and letting BP take care of this, and the National Oceanic Administration, NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, they have 5 boats in the area. None of them are out there sampling the waters. And in fact, here's where it gets really bizarre. This was on the CBS Evening News last night with Katie Couric. A CBS News reporter pulled up and you can find the clip on YouTube. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get into copyright issues here. But the CBS News crew was looking at the oil spills off the coast of Florida. And a Coast Guard cutter pulls up and says, you got to leave the area or we'll arrest you. And the CBS News people say, these are public waters. This is a public beach. What are you talking about? We got to leave the area. And the Coast Guard says, we're operating under the authority of British Petroleum. What? Did the Redcoats just win the war? Is that serious? Is the British East India Company actually won the Revolutionary War? Only now they've changed their name to British Petroleum? Is that what's going on? This is incredible. It's absolutely someone aboard the boat say, here's the exact quote that was said to CBS last night. This is BP's rules, it's not ours. Now, yes, it's grammatically incorrect, but this is how they said it. This is BP's rules, it's not ours. BP's rules? Why haven't we been seeing what's going on? Why is it that when that one NOAA research ship was out there last week and just happened to drop some sample tubes and discovered this giant plume of 100-mile long plume of oil that's miles across, when they've discovered this thing underwater and it got published in the New York Times, all of a sudden NOAA takes that ship out of service, or at least out of that area. It's increasingly appearing to many of us that the Obama administration and British Petroleum have the same interest here, which is out of sight, out of mind. Minimize the political consequence of this for both the Obama administration and British Petroleum. We've got military planes spraying chemical dispersants to keep the oil from coming on shore, so that it'll settle into the deep ocean where it simply kills wildlife. Because when it comes on shore, you got cameras. Can't have that. Well, it's starting to come on shore anyway. Meanwhile, Tulane University has a law clinic. And this is amazing. And they're not the only university to do this, by the way. This is also it's also being done by Purdue University. There's a number of universities where their law schools. What they do is they run what they call law clinics, where basically they have student lawyers look around them in the world and say, there's something wrong going on over there. Here's a company or a group of people or a government agency that's breaking the law. We're going to sue them to get practice in litigating. And this Marcus Barham posting over at the Huffington Post about a bill that is now before Congress. Right, they got some worm in Congress to actually introduce legislation to strip Tulane University of its funding for its law clinic, because God forbid Tulane University went after BP, or at least went after some of the big oil companies. A trade group, in the earlier chapter, the long-running battle in Louisiana, a trade group which represents oil and chemical companies has teamed up with some state lawmakers to try to punish Tulane University for the actions of the school's environmental law clinic. These two groups are the Louisiana Chemical Industry Alliance and the Louisiana Chemical Association, BP, by the way, a member of that. And for years they've been attacking this clinic. And the clinic's students have been out there trying to force companies, particularly oil and chemical companies, to do what's right. Senator Nick Gautreaux suggested to the Times-Picayune, quote, maybe the Attorney General should hire Tulane students to sue British Petroleum. If they can scare the Chemical Association this bad, good on you, Nick, by the way, then they can scare BP, Transocean, and Halliburton. He's one of the good guys. But the New York Times has reported that there are proposals as well to cut funding for the University of Maryland's law clinic after one of the students accused the state's largest employer, Purdue, that's as in chickens, of environmental violation. And a New Jersey law developer's lawsuit against a law school clinic at Rutgers, which had tried to stop plans for a strip mall in Franklin Township. So here we have our own government saying, see no evil, hear no evil. We've got industry making an effort to stop the puny little tiny efforts that are coming out of a few law schools to occasionally prick them. You've got, every Republican in the House and Senate talking constantly about tort reform, which basically means make it illegal for trial lawyers to come after, monopolistic organizations and institutions, monopolistic corporations that have driven out all the competition, own entire industries, and behave like bullies and buy and sell legislators like they're toy soldiers. At what point is the Obama administration going to start pushing back? At what point are they going to take control of this situation? At what point are they going to start giving us the straight scoop on what's going on? At what point are they going to tell NOAA to go out there and look under the water and see what the hell's going on? At what point are they going to say, we're going to nationalize that oil well and BP's operations?